There is life in music, just as there is life in words. And when we find ways to bring that life alive with our students, they will begin to hear and think in different ways that are very necessary for music. In fact, that should be our goal for our first meeting with our student, even at the interview. When we think of the three basic components that all beginning students must work with, and by that I mean rhythm, pitch, and technique, we can very easily see that rhythm is the easiest of the three, and that furthermore it is the most fun to do. And it's very physical, so that the student learns on a cellular level almost, you see, because they have to put themselves into it with their voices, with their body, and with their spirit. It's a wonderful way to begin music study. I spend the first several lessons on just rhythm. And then after that, everything we do, whether it's pitch, technique, whatever, is done in a definite rhythm. Perhaps it's just a steady pulse. Well, just a steady pulse is just something easy for some students. But you see, once we establish rhythm as the river that music flows on, then we have a basis for reading and playing musically and fluently. Today, I want to show you a way to use rhythm in early lessons that will put the student in the driver's seat, so to speak. And from there, we will have the students, they learn to think of music as a language, and music is a very personally expressive language. And we must get that across immediately. You will see that in the tutorial, how we do that. But without that, it's just notes. And that will never make music. We have to have the character, the personality, and the mischief of the notes. So all of this must happen from the first lesson forward, and it must never go away. We must never have a lesson that is all just talking about something like intervals. Intervals are very important. We don't talk about them so much as sing them and finger them. 1 up to 3, 2 up to 4. These sorts of things make it an automatic response. And notice that I did that in a steady pulse. So taken together, we can make it so that we have students really making music, making decisions about their music, and really being involved in deciding what they liked the most and what they thought was most interesting. That will change the way they practice for their whole life. I guarantee it. Now it's time for us to meet Iana. She has come to join us. Iana, I'm so glad that you've joined this studio because you are a wonderful student to work with. You're very intelligent. You remember everything we talk about. And you come back the next week, you know it, you see. And that's a wonderful thing to have in a student. And you always enter into things very well. So that makes me doubly happy to have you in the studio, dear. You started lessons after the first of the year. It was about February or March, wasn't it? And you've made very good progress in what we are doing. How old are you, dear?
I'm 8.
You're 8. Oh, my goodness. Well, you're doing very well for someone that young. I thought you were older because you're so mature. Do you know what mature means?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a compliment. Now today, I want to review some of the things we started with because it's good to review, right? And some people have never used this book before. And so if we can help the teachers and students see how to make good use of what's there, that will help them. And it will be fun for us to do it again. It's been a while. All right? So now we are looking at the Introduction to Music, page 4. And that's the first page we started on. And we had a brief discussion of music, which anyone can read and understand that rhythm is really the most important part of music. Rhythm brings life to music. If it didn't have rhythm, it would be dull. So it's also the easiest thing to learn in music, and it's the most fun, right? Don't you enjoy rhythm? Yes, so therefore it's a good place for us to be. And we started by learning the parts of the note. And what is the first part of note that we studied? Note head, right? And what's the difference between these two note heads?
This one's filled in and this one's not. This one's filled in and this one's not.
That's right. Are they about the same size?
Yes.
Yes. And are they about the same shape?
Yes.
So that's kind of a pattern. But the interruption of the pattern is that one is not filled in and the other one is. So pattern is very important in music. Now, what's the next thing we looked at carefully? What do we call those sticks?
The note stems.
The note stem. And are some of them down and some of them up? Yes. And they mean different things when they're down or up. And when they go down, which side of the note head do they go down from? Do you remember?
The left side.
Very good. And when it's going up, it's the
Right side.
right side. Excellent. And then what happens when we put a dot after a note?
It becomes a dotted half note.
It does. You didn't know that when we... You've learned the names of the notes since then. We just called that the white note head with a stem on it at that time. But it is a dotted half note, you're right. And so how long does a dotted half note last?
3 beats.
3 beats. How long did it last without the dot?
2 beats.
2 beats. And what is half of 2?
1.
So therefore, when we put a dot after a note, it adds on half of what the note got, right? Very good. Now, what do we mean by the word duration?
How long it lasts?
There. How long anything lasts. So the duration down at the bottom of the page here, well, we can go ahead and call it a quarter note, but they don't have to when they're just starting. The quarter note gets one count, the half note gets
2 counts,
and the dotted half note gets
3 counts,
and the whole note
4 counts.
And it looks like a whole, doesn't it? So it's easy to remember its name. And duration is very important in music. Why?
Because it tells you how long a note lasts.
That's right. And if we made them all the same or all just kind of wobbly different, it wouldn't be very interesting, would it? Just sort of dull. So we'd have to know the duration. Let's think of a few other ways that we use the word duration. How many hours are there in a day?
24.
And how many days in a week?
7.
7 days in a week is the duration of the week. How about the year? How many months in the year?
12.
How many days?
365.
There you go. So duration is something that we know. And we are using it in music to measure the time of the sound that we want to make. 1 is not 4 counts, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. And you remember how we count? We chant. Let's do it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, off. Right? Now, if we went 1, 2, 3, 4, off. Would that be a good example of duration? No. So we always count that way, and it makes it almost singing, doesn't it? Very good, darling. So now we have duration, and we also have to have the word
Rhythm.
yes. What is it?
Rhythm is the duration and how soft and how loud we play in music.
That's right. And does it make it more interesting?
Yes.
Yes, because if we just went blah, 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 nobody would listen, and we wouldn't enjoy our practicing. Very good, darling. So we have then the feeling of duration as being an important thing, and pattern, looking for patterns. Now let's turn and look at page 5. And we're looking at rhythm 1. Find the patterns that you see in rhythm 1. First of all, how would we define a pattern?
By how long it lasts.
Yes. A pattern is, well, the first 4 notes here form a pattern because they're all the same kind of notes. So when something is repeated, then we have a pattern, right? Okay? So now what is the total duration of those first 4 quarter notes?
4.
4. And can you find something that's an exact repetition of that?
Right here.
Right there. That's right. Because we have another 4 quarter notes. All right. They're the same. Do you think they should always sound exactly the same? Same time.
Yeah.
Same duration. But it would be dull if they did the same thing twice, don't you think? Yes. All right. Now, that's one pattern we found. The 4 quarter notes were repeated. And their total duration is
4.
4. Now, what about the 2 half notes? What's their total duration?
4.
Yes. Is that a kind of pattern? Right. It doesn't look the same, but it's going to last the same. It won't sound the same, but the duration is the same. All right? Then, what about that last note?
4.
Okay. So they all add up to 4. They will all have an even duration, but do it in different ways. So that's a pattern in itself, but an interrupted pattern by having the 2 half notes and the 1 whole note. Now, do you think, what do the half notes and the whole notes, what do you think they're doing in the ideas here? We start out with the 4 quarter notes pushing. What do you think the 2 half notes might do?
They might be a little softer.
Yeah, a little softer. And then what might the next pattern of the 4 quarter notes be?
A little softer.
A little softer still? Okay, and what about the last whole note?
A little bit softer.
Okay, now, so we better be pretty loud with our first guys, because if we're going to get softer for our half notes and softer still for our quarter note pattern, and then the whole note's going to be softer, we won't be heard. Okay, so let's push our book back. And let's just tap regular, okay? And we're going to start loud, and we'll always count to get started the way we do. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? What effect do you think our performance just had?
A soft.
Mostly soft, that's right. But what about the fact that we started so loud?
A loud.
Loud beginning, and we got weaker and weaker. Did it sound like we were getting scared? Were we getting scared? No, but that's what we interpreted it as. That's what we made it do. All right. Now, do you remember how to do circular clapping? And I'd like to stand up and do that first. We have this memorized, don't we? Okay. Iana, do you like to circular clap? How does it make you feel?
Happy.
Happy, okay. So, and it also wakes us up if we get a little drowsy or need to get up and move. It feels great. So let's do it with our phrase that we just worked on. And let's do it in loud all the way across just to wake us up wonderfully. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, here we go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, off. How was that?
Good.
Let's do it again, even stronger. 1, 1, here we go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, off. That was better, wasn't it? You feel awake now? I do too.